All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Box Lunch here at the Fort Worth Community Arts Center. Oh my goodness, another Monday is upon us, and we are so very excited to have one of our very own cohorts and his better half as well, the one and only Ashley Douglas and Tim Fetters. How are the two of you doing today?
We're doing good. How are you?
How are you doing?
I am doing very well. Thank you so much for taking the time and jumping into this creative endeavor that has lasted now. Goodness gracious, I think today might finally be the 75th episode. And
wow.
it's been a long time coming. So we're very excited to have one of our own. And before we delve into things, do you two mind introducing yourselves and telling us a little bit about who you are and what it is you do?
Sure. You want to go first?
Sure. My name is Ashley Douglas. I am his fiance. I'm a customer service rep for a mortgage company, and I spend most of my time doing that or watching my niece. Avid D&D lover. I've actually done a few pieces at the art center as well. My family's always been heavily into theater, so I've been involved in that as well.
And I am Timothy Fetters. I work at the Fort Worth Community Arts Center with Jason. I audio engineer, do a little bit of everything else. Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Leave it to a tech to be a man of few words, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, we always speak through the knobs and buttons we push, don't we, Tim?
Yeah.
That's why he's cooking today. I do the talking. He does.
Yeah.
Well, anything to keep him busy, and I'm sure it will be a wonderful lesson learned. So speaking of cooking, what is on your lunch menu today?
So we today have tuna melts, pre-made, not yet, and soup.
We're going to be having tomato bisque and chicken noodle.
Very nice. Classic lunch menu. I have talked a lot about this every plate and pre-packaged delivered shipping service. So I'm going to see if I have bitten off more than I can chew today. And I'm actually going to make one of these. I say make. I've already started just to save some of the time. But today I'm going with a cherry glazed pork meatball. So wish me luck. And fair warning, if there's any smoke behind me, just give me a hand signal and I'll do my best to turn around and see if I can't kill the fire. So, all right, are we off and running here?
I think we're good to go.
Good.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about this fabulous tuna melt creation here, Tim, and then we'll move on to the intricacies of your tomato bisque and chicken noodle soup.
Oh yeah, this is pretty much her creation. I'm cooking for her today. I'm learning, I should say, but just tuna, and we put some cheese on it, throw it on the skillet, and just let it cook.
It's something my mom made for us all the time growing up. It's typically we use Colby Jack, but I guess you could use any cheese you want. But we always use Colby Jack growing up, and make some tuna with some mayonnaise and some salt and pepper, and you put it on the sandwich, and then you grill it. Sometimes we put it in a panini press, and it's best on sourdough bread, but recently been diagnosed as diabetic, so no sourdough bread for me. So we have keto friendly bread instead. Nice.
And is there a specific place that you get that, or can you pick it up at any store out there?
We use the Nature's Own, the sugar, I think it's low sugar, or the honey wheat. It's let me grab it real quick.
I think she usually picks up like Kroger or something, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
fairly
Kroger, Walmart. It is this Nature's Own,
oh, yes.
whole grain, sugar free. It is 9. Well, count the fibers out. 8 carbs a slice. So a whole sandwich is only 16 carbs, which for the diabetic diet, you're supposed to stay under 50 per meal typically. So if you put a lot of cheese and meat on there, it's a pretty low carb lunch. Pretty good for me to be able to still have bread and sandwiches.
Very nice, very nice. Well, wow, it sounds like you guys got it going on there. And I had to cut up some potatoes. They're boiling in the back for some mashed potatoes here. So I'll let those go. My meatballs, I pre-made them with a little bit of planko breadcrumbs and drizzle of oil. I've got some Brussels sprouts that are in the air fryer here that are just about done. Ooh, they're smelling good. So we'll let those go, and I'll make a glaze as we move along. So,
All right.
all right. So now you two are here in Texas, but you found Tim in Missouri. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes, both of us are from Missouri. We both grew up in the Kansas City area, different parts of the Kansas City area, but we met, funny enough, we met on Tinder.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting story because I had been out of a relationship for about a month, and he had not been in a relationship for quite some time. And both of us at the same time, the same week, had friends go, you need to start on Tinder because that's where it's at. I didn't want to because I didn't think I'd find anybody that I would like on there. He didn't want to because I don't know why. But I think we matched the same day that we signed it, the same day we signed up, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And then proceeded to not speak to anybody else after that. So like I talked to him for 3 days and I was like, you know what? I don't need this app anymore. Let's go.
At the time, I was working for a library system up in Missouri called Mid-Continent, and I was doing a lot of management stuff with them, really high-end management. So I barely had any time to do much. So my dating life kind of dropped off for I think 2 or 3 years because I would go to work at like 8 in the morning and get off sometimes at 10. So
Well, and funny enough, he almost didn't get a first date. Well, because he was working so often, every time we would schedule a date, he would have to cancel. And so one of the dates, he didn't remember to text me until after he was supposed to already be there. And I was like, this is like the third time this has happened. I don't think I can do this anymore.
it was a long beginning journey.
It was a long, I could talk on the phone for about 2 months before we
Yeah.
actually saw each other in person. But at that point, I knew enough about him. I was like, you know what? Let's start this, I guess.
Now, this was how long ago?
4 years?
2016.
2016.
End of 2016. So it's
Gotcha.
been a while.
Been a while. It'll be 5 years this December.
Wow.
And so all of that started in Missouri. What was it that brought you down here to Texas?
Oh God, the fact that it's Missouri.
Yeah, I think we were both looking to just start an independent life away from Missouri and away from previous dramas that have been there. It's really good to get a fresh start with a new chapter in life, instead of going about it in the old same place. So
My family's here.
she has a lot of family. I'm here.
My dad's lived here since I was 12.
Mhm.
My grandma moved here a few years previous to that. So they've lived here almost my whole life. So when we were like, well, where are we gonna go? We were just like, well, we might as well go to Texas. That's where I wanted to be.
Give Texas a shot.
Awesome. And you've been back here for how long?
Oh,
3 years.
Nearly
3 years. Because we lived together in Missouri for a year, and then shortly after that, after the first year, we moved down here. So we've been down here for 3 years.
Gotcha. Now, Tim, were you doing theatrical stuff up there in Missouri as well, like on the
I was
side? Any
not.
kind of technical, artistic endeavors prior to your arrival down here in Texas?
I was not, definitely. I've guitar tech before, so that's about all that the experience I have in anything tech wise. So I learned a lot, from her dad. I've learned a lot from you, Jason. So it was pretty new starting out, especially as an audio engineer. While I was used to the technical things of audio, I didn't quite understand like the philosophy of it, like the how waves and stuff travel and all that stuff. Now I kind of do. So yeah, I was never a mixer of any kind or anything like that. I pretty much just running cable and plugging guitars in. So
Now, Ashley, you do also have not only your dad involved in theater, you've also had some involvement yourself. Is that right?
Yeah. So my dad's worked in theater for pretty much my whole life, and I have off and on done theater down here. When I came to visit, I would do work with the Katie Conservatory in Dallas. I've done shows with them. I even did a show at the art center, like I said, Mana La Mancha, which is where he first started, because we brought him as a volunteer because he had so much going on for that show. We were like, we need all the hands we can get. So I'm a little more on the acting side of things. Like I said, I've been in a couple shows. My dad's taught me a bit about lighting, so I've done some lighting jobs, not professionally. I mean, professionally, but that's not my profession. So
yeah, so a little bit of lighting designer experience.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I've actually gotten paid to do lighting. Like, legit, they handed me a check. Like that was pretty cool. That was again with Katie. Is it Katie Conservatory still, or is it Katie Studios now?
I think it's Katie Conservative.
Oh, because Studios.
So she did some work in Dallas.
Yeah, I've done work in Dallas.
Yeah.
Katie Conservatory for sure over there. So let me ask you this now. I'm sure
they changed it.
I'm sure a lot of people are kind of curious as to what all this has to do with the Art Center. Now, the two of you have formally made an announcement to some of us that are in your closer circles, and for those of us out there that are not aware of all the things that are going on. Tim, you recently popped the question. Is that correct?
Yeah, I proposed right before that major ice storm that we had.
He asked me to marry him, and then Texas froze over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the same day.
It was on Valentine's Day. I popped the big question, and then everything kind of shut down. So, but yeah, we chose to have our wedding at the Art Center. It's kind of become like a second home to both of us. I'm there a lot with you and everyone else and the rest of our crew a lot.
Which means I'm there a lot. So
yeah, basically. So she's kind of tagged along some nights, we just love the building. We love everyone there. So
now, a lot of people don't know this about the Art Center. They assume that we have two theaters and rent to a lot of production companies and dance troupes and schools that come in, theatrical organizations, and all of that is true. But we are also open to the public as well for rental opportunities. And I'm somewhat very touched, Tim, that you spend all your time there working. Ashley, a lot of your time spent there as well. And yet you still choose to come in and take this special event and decided to have it with all of us there at the Art Center as well. Now, I know you talked about your family atmosphere there. What were some of the other things that made you go ahead and seal the deal at the Art Center?
Well, I really like I like coming in and looking at all of the artwork. My family's always kind of raised us to have a thorough appreciation for art. And so one of my favorite things to do when I'm coming up to get him from work is walk around all the different art exhibits and see just kind of how much talent is out there, and that you guys have put up. And I really liked the building itself is just gorgeous. So we're having the ceremony in the front gallery where it's got those big open windows. And I just looked at that and I was like, this is perfect. This is what I want. And we're having it in March, so it's not gonna be too hot, but there's no way we're having an outdoor wedding in Texas.
There's a lot of our Missouri family and friends that don't want to deal with the Texas heat. So.
We were like, it's fine. We don't either. Listen, I didn't move down here because it was hot. I moved down here specifically because it wasn't cold.
Exactly.
That's
Now, Tim, you said you proposed in February. Was that February prior to the pandemic or February after we had already gotten into the pandemic a little bit?
Yeah. this was this past February.
Yeah, this was this year.
That's a few months ago. So it's been something else to kind of try to find time and things to do with the pandemic going on that involve things for the wedding. So oftentimes we have to like just work around, you know, a lot of
Well, it
the
was supposed to be at the
restrictions.
botanical gardens. We were
Yeah.
gonna go to the botanical gardens down there by the art center for Valentine's Day, and then it snowed, and so it wasn't even
Yeah,
happen.
that was my initial plan. We were gonna go down there to the gardens, and it was gonna be this huge, pretty thing. But then Texas had snow and ice and all that stuff, so it was just impossible to get out that day for both of us. So, but yeah, we just both really enjoy the art center's atmosphere. So that's how it all came about.
Well, I can't say it enough, Tim. We were so touched that you chose us to have your special day there. And you said March. Now you're in 2022, I'm assuming?
Yes, 2020, March 2022. So next March.
Gotcha. Now I'm curious for both of you, I guess. Tim, did the time in lockdown, did that seal the deal in terms of deciding to go ahead and propose? Was the issue forced? And Ashley, did the year in lockdown, did that help you say yes? Did it make you a little tentative? Just walk me through what a relationship's like in a national pandemic.
Well, to be quite honest, we had been talking about it for quite some time. One of the one of the big things at the beginning of our relationship was talking about where we wanted this to go and exactly what we were looking for. And, we had come to the general consensus that that is what we were looking for out of one another, was marriage. Yep. So I have been badgering him for 4 years. Okay, more like 3 since we moved down here, about 3. We had a year, and then I was like, you know what, when are we going to do this? And so as far as that goes on my end, no, we've been talking about it for quite some time.
Yeah, and I figured that if we can survive the pandemic and lockdown together, we can for sure last another 8.
Yeah, we saw each other every single day and still didn't want to kill each other. So we were like, you know what? I think this is good. You think this is good? It's good.
I think that always is absolutely a good sign. Yes. So, all right. So how we coming on our lunches there?
Just finishing up the second one now.
Well, just starting the second one.
Yeah, just start. The first one's finished up.
First one's finished. Cheese, tuna,
Melted cheese.
melted cheese. How's yours coming along?
It's coming along pretty good. Now, I apologize. I've got a little more to do in this one than I normally do. So I'm going to have to look at my directions real quick. It's telling me that I'm going to take the meatballs out of the pan. And this is where things get a little spooky for me. I've got to actually make a glaze. So there are the meatballs right there. I'll come back to them in just a second. And I'm going to walk you through this real quick so that I can make sure that I get this right. All right. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yep.
This is what I love. They send you these neat little bottles. It's not alcohol, it's vinegar. For those of you that think that I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. So, all right. So I got to put a little bit of butter in here. Says with 1 tablespoon of that. I've got to put a little garlic in the glaze. I'm supposed to let that go for about 30 seconds or till it's fragrant. But garlic's always fragrant in my mind. So then I pour in the vinegar, if I can open the bottle. So I put the vinegar in there. Supposed to let that evaporate a little bit. And then I've got chicken stock here. They package it. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it. So the chicken stock goes in as well. Drop that off. Then I get a little squirt of ketchup. It says 1 tablespoon. I'm just going to measure that way. I hope that's close. Hey. Then I get 2 tablespoons of water. Pour that in there. And now I've got to let that. Oh, wait. This is the most important part right here. Sorry. Cherry jam.
Oh
I
my
was gonna say,
goodness!
there you go.
Wow.
There you got the
Look
cherry in
out.
that yet.
Eat your heart out. I can't even think of a famous cook. I'll say,
Gordon Ramsay.
there you go. Eat your heart out. Who's the guy that used to go bam all the time?
Emilio
Oh,
Lagasse.
yeah.
There you go. That's more my
Which was my first thought. Which is funny because I watched more Gordon Ramsay than anything else. Gordon Ramsay's my when I don't like people, because I've worked in customer service almost my whole life, as far as jobs go. And so when I've had a particularly frustrating day, Gordon Ramsay was one of my favorite things to watch because he can get away with saying so much.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so there is my glaze. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's got the garlic, all of that stuff in there. Then I drop the meatballs back in, and then I let that set up a little bit. All right. Sorry about that. I think that was the hardest part. So I'm just gonna drape them a little bit with some of that glaze.
So you're gonna cook for us
we are
sometime at
good
work?
to go. We'll let that go. So
Oh yeah, lunch is on the boss.
Gonna cook us lunch, the Tex lunch one day?
I may, you never know. I'm just hoping that sooner than later we can get back to having lunch together anyway.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I know there's been a couple of wonderful porch sessions out there in the back. And so those have certainly been nice to see everybody's faces. Tim, are you excited about getting back to work? Are you nervous
Yeah,
with all of the things going on? Can you tell us a little bit about what that's like as a technician moving back to having groups in house and getting to see some theatricality live and in person?
Yeah, I think it's more so for me, it's, before COVID, we were working like really ridiculous hours with some of the groups that come in, especially on rehearsal days where you spend, 13 hours, 14 hours there all day. But now it's just kind of getting used to it again, to where we're there that long and we're programming shows again. And you kind of have to wrap your mind around all the technical aspects of the boards and everything again. So, and thinking of it on the fly is the biggest part for me. Like, okay, this is what I have to do next, because we haven't really had to do that in the past, few. So I'm really happy to get back to it. I miss some of our longtime clients. I miss working with you guys a lot. I know during COVID it was just kind of like a text thing. Hey, how you doing? Not dead, So I'm really happy to be back to it. I miss spending so much time at the art center and around everyone that I enjoy working with. So I'm really blessed to be back.
Ashley, has everything for you during all of this been virtual? Has it been in person? What has your lockdown been like?
So when I started lockdown, I was actually an assistant manager. That preliminary about month or so where nobody did anything, I did not work. But then it was right back at it. So and I worked there until a better job opportunity came along last November. And since then, I have been working from home.
Do you prefer it, or do you like to be in person and with people?
Honestly, right now, I prefer the work at home because, for one thing, I since it's set hours and I work at 8:30 in the morning, it means I don't have to get up even earlier than that and drive somewhere. I don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be somewhere at 8:30. And when I'm on break and when I'm on lunch, I get to come out here and spend time with my family. I get to spend time with my niece, because normally she's at some point, at least once during the day, will come and bang on my door and it's like, come play with me. So it's nice to be able to come out and kind of interact with everybody without being stuck in an office for 9 hours of my day and then having to drive home and everything. So I like being virtual.
Nice. I hear you both talk so much about family, and it's something that I know personally about you. Now, you have a pretty large number that you share your time with. Is it too much for me to ask what your capacity is there at that lovely establishment?
We have 9 people in this house, 8
Yep.
adults and a 3-year-old.
And a little child.
So
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. It's fascinating to me. Now, I know your father, obviously, the one
Yeah.
and only Mr. Brian Douglas. I know
Yeah.
what a softie he is. Would he have more in that house if he could get more family there?
Oh, 100%.
if we had the capacity, we would have everybody here. In fact, my grandmother jokes all the time that not if, but when she wins the lottery, she's just going to buy a plot of land and build everybody, like just build this giant commune for us to live on so that everybody's together all the time, but like not squished together. So
Yeah.
I know that we would, if we had the physical capacity for more people, we would probably have them. We call it community living.
Community living.
I,
Pretty much.
I have always sensed that about Mr. Douglas since the day I met him. He's been very, very kind and compassionate towards my struggles when I came in. And so it just doesn't surprise me at all to know that he is certainly family oriented, as it sounds like all of you are there in that fabulous house. So, all right,
yeah.
so I'm starting to plate up. How are you guys coming there on
Awesome.
yours?
We're doing pretty
finished.
good.
We're finished.
I got to tell you now, everything else turned out pretty well except for the Brussels sprouts.
Oh
I I burnt them to death, but I'm going to eat them anyway, just for the just for the sake of showing people that you got to learn to live with your mistakes. So I'll give you a little glance into those before I throw the rest of them in the trash. And I'm going to let you guys go first there as I finish up here.
All right, you want to lift yours up here?
Totally. Here you go.
This is what we
Here's
got.
some tuna melt. I don't know if you can see it.
Nice. Tim, just take the bread, lift it up. Let me
Mhm.
see some of that melted cheese there.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh my goodness gracious. That
Yeah.
looks delicious. Now, we didn't touch on the soup much. Do you mind just giving us a little insight there? What is your blend of preference?
Oh,
Well, it's I'll show you.
we got it.
It's
We got it.
Campbell's chicken noodle soup and Progresso tomato basil. Sorry, not even
I
bisque.
love it. I love it.
This is as classy as it gets.
Okay,
That's-
so I'm sure that you guys have seen that You Nailed It. Is that what it's called?
Nailed
Yeah,
it!
yeah,
Oh
that
my
cooking
God, we
show.
love that show.
Okay, well, here we go. So here is
Here's
the
what you were
every
trying
plate
to make.
picture.
Oh,
And I did pretty good on everything, I think, except the Brussels sprouts. So nailed it.
oh, hey
Oh,
man, that looks
that's
good.
pretty good.
That looks good.
Like I said, I'm pretty happy with everything, but the
You know,
bake
those
level on
Brussels
those.
sprouts have
Those are
seen a better life, but
that's what you call well done, right there. So,
It's flavor.
guys, that's it. So this is
All
where we
right.
sign off. We say hello to everybody out there. Any words of encouragement or inspiration for our lovely people out there?
just keep on trucking, y'all. We'll get
Keep going.
we'll get through all of this together, and that's the only way we'll do it. So
All right.
Thrive.
Lift up your plates. This is where we sign off. Ladies and gentlemen, that does it for another episode of our box lunch program. Tim, Ashley, congratulations on your wedding. We can't wait to take care of you guys out there at the Art Center. Anybody else that's interested in coming and checking out the rental opportunities, just head to the website, www.fwcac.org. We'd be happy to talk to you. Bon appetit, everyone. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.